This is French. Today, I wanted to go over one more time in various ways the STAR program. The STAR program is an organizational structure that Cashflow NFT come up with to eliminate the the lack of organizational growth beyond the two tier. As you know, that you bring somebody in the company. Personally, that generate 10% commission for every time on the first tier, and the second tier is only 5%. Now, given human nature, if there's no incentive uh, for me to share with you, and then you share with your sister, brother, nephew, niece, uh, and then any of them chooses to share with someone else, that would be a third level. If I didn't do a good job explaining to you the process of, you know, selling an NFT, now keep in mind that you could share the NFT acquisition project with anyone on limited level frontline to you on the first tier, and you could also do the same thing on the second tier. But the third non-commissionable part of it, and because there are no monetary incentives on a third level and beyond, or third tier and beyond, since there is no third tier and beyond, there would be no economic incentive for me to take time to coach your nephew's sister, brother, uncle's friend because they are third level. There are no third level and beyond uh, commission structure. And that's also good because you could share on with unlimited width only two level in depth. The STAR program was created to eliminate that in order to create a team culture. The team culture is that it doesn't really matter how many level in depth that somebody find themselves in, how many level in depth that you created, because as you share with people, people would share with other people, and other people would share, and it's so on and so on and so on. Here's an example, for instance. Suppose this is you're just getting started. Um, you're excited, you learn about our ecosystem, the difference between Miracle Cash and Cashflow NFT. Okay, you learn about the difference between the two, the collaboration between the two companies, and now you acquire as an NFT or not, and but you're excited. You also wanted to expose the ecosystem to other people, as many people as possible. So what do? The circle here on the first tier represents the number of people. The dots represent the number of people in order to keep the board nice and clean. So that board, that dot, is not limited by the circle, and each dot could represent hundreds or thousands of people. It's just for the sake of simplicity, I put dots to represent the number of people. Okay, so as you share with as many people and therefore widen your circles of influence, once you reach the level of 50,000 in volume on your first tier, you are a one star for one share. Okay, now for you to become a two star, all you have to do is find three people on the little circle. Within that circle, three people in that in the community who basically did the exact same thing you did. You have your circles of influence, and through your circle, you generate $50,000 in value, and therefore you become a one star for one share. And then, as you educate your people in your circle, you identify three group or three legs, three separate tiers who basically set themselves apart and repeat the same thing you do. So, in a sense, those three people, they would be you, and that would be their circle, and then in their circle, they generate 50,000 in sell. That's all that is. And then the law of three applies. In order for you to become a two star, you generate three people. You find three people in your circles or in your circles. So as long as it's three separate lines, create also $50,000 in volume. Hence, you have group one, two, and three. In this case, there is an individual who set himself apart and do that. So you have Tim, Tom, and Nancy who do that, for instance. Then you become a two stars because you have coached and educated and identified three people in your circles who replicate your exact same production. And that's all that is. It is a production volume based, not the number of NFT purchase. Not the number of NFT purchase because the value of the NFT uh, are not equal, and therefore it is a dollar factor, not a number of NFT factor. And then all you have to do is basically to become a three stars, help your one stars become two stars, you become three stars. To become a four stars, help your two stars become three stars. And so this is another way that I have found to explain it. Okay, so Stephen Covey say, begin with the end in mind. Okay, so if the goal in this ecosystem is to get to the top, the goal is then I envision myself as a five star. So what would it take for me to become five star? Five stars receive 50 shares. If the share is 5,000, if the share is 1,000, we're not here to uh, guess what that would be. So it doesn't really matter what the dollar value is at that point. We'll eventually find out, but that's not really that important. What's important is that you developed a coachability. First of all, you're being coached and you're coaching. So the education itself, the human relationship skills were necessary for you to achieve this level of influence, the ability to influence other people to do things that is good for them, in this case, to give people vision. And that in itself has value, regardless of the monetary incentives involved in that. So I've just given you time to process my deep dive into the numbers. Okay, so let's think of it as let me rephrase the circles again. A Anyone can participate and acquire an NFT or not. Say, for instance, Jim decided to participate, and Jim is excited. Jim is an analytical type. It takes time to understand everything, uh, all the ins and outs, the company history, from the beginning to the end, and will never do anything. Jim will also not talk to people about it because he's not sure whether or not he understands it. So we could be talking next year this time. Jim is still learning and yet hasn't done anything. Mary comes in, is like, wow, I'm excited. This I see where this is going, and therefore I'm going to participate. Mary join, and Mary also have a sphere of influence, people in her community that are crypto educated that she talked to, who knows her, people she knows, and Mary starts sharing. In Mary's community, Mary has identified people who can acquire one NFT, one and done, and that's it. There is also acquire people who can get two, three NFTs, and that's it. They're not interested in sharing, they're just interested in an NFT, and that's it. And Mary also find people who can get two, three, five, 10 NFTs, and also has a big community and therefore share. So for Mary to become a one star, she just need to generate $50,000 in sale in her circles. Now, since she has been sharing while Jim is learning and hasn't done anything, she's been sharing and therefore identify three people who does exactly what she does. Excited, share, sell, and earn 10% for each. At this point, Mary's first tier for each NFT they buy, she will get 10%. Okay, and then this would be Mary's second tier, for which she gets 5%. So Mary obviously is interested uh, in being educated, okay, to understand the ecosystem and also to share to the second tier to acquire an NFT. At this point, Mary is developing a team who acquires NFT themselves and also coaching other people to do the same. Now, in Mary's circle is a lot of people who are in crypto, educated, understand what's going on, don't need help setting up a wallet, do all that stuff. They've already been through that. So Mary was able to generate 50,000 in sales easily. And Jim is still learning and processing information. Not sure because he hasn't got all the details yet. Okay, so now Mary is a one star because she generated 50,000 in sales. Then she identified three people in her team, three separate lines, who can basically also tap into their community and do the same thing. Awesome, awesome. Now Mary is a 2 stars for 5 shares. Now, this is where I help you break down the view from the top. The view from the top is that you got to start from the top. Now, we know 50,000 makes you a one star. Find three people who does the same thing, makes you a 2 stars. Now, and the same three people will also carry you all the way through, or the same structure of three teams will carry you all the way through the 5 stars. See, if a 50,000 in sales get you to one star, therefore, to become a 2 star, you need at least a group volume of 150. That is from a leadership perspective. We're not talking about people who just acquire one NFT and don't do anything. We're talking about three people who are generating who are creating a team for the purpose of growing in the star program. So therefore, we're just gonna talk about the group volume necessary for you to advance in the next rank. So the to become a 5 star, all you have to do is generate and create, or perhaps coach, three 4 stars. Okay. Now, the typical based on group volume alone for the qualification purposes is that is a $4.05 million team, which consists of three 4 stars. Well, how do you become 4 stars? A 4 star consists of three 3 stars. Do you see that? Well, we were doing it the reverse way. First of all, a 5 star is someone who has 4 stars. A 4 stars is someone who has three. I mean, three. A 5 star has three 4 stars, And a four-star organization is an organization of 1.35 million, which is divisible by three. That gives you three three stars. So a three-star organization is an organization that has three. I mean, a four-star organization is an organization that has three three stars. It's like climbing a step backward. When we are going up to the ladder from 1 star to 5 stars, we're going up the ladder. Right now, we're doing a reverse walk from the top down from a numbers perspective for the purpose of increasing the star rank, not necessarily representing the volume necessary in the organization. So let's repeat one more time. The 5 star is an organization of 3 4 stars. Now, that, for the purpose of volume only to qualify, represent a volume of 4.5 million, 4.05 million. When you divide that by 3, that means you have 3 4 stars in your group. A 4-star organization, for the purpose of qualification, is an organization with minimum 1.35 million. Well, 1.35 million divided by 3 is the equivalent of three 3 stars. Three 3 stars. Now, a 3-star organization, for volume purposes, is an organization that generates a minimum for qualification purposes of 450,000. This will make sense to you because we are climbing down the stairs from begin with the end in mind. You're 5 stars. What will be required for you to get to 5 stars? Okay. Now, in order for you to become a 3 star, that means you have to have 3 2 stars in your group. Oh, by the way, when that amount is divided by 3, that means you have 3 3 stars in your group. A 3-star organization is an organization that has 3 2 stars. Well, what is a 2-star organization? An organization of a 2 stars, that means that organization, that team has 3 1 star. A 1-star organization is well, not organization. A 1 star is an organization that has uh, $50,000 in volume in customer acquisition that purchase NFT up to 50,000, or from 50,000 up. Until you reach 50,000 in volume, you're not 1 star from people who purchase NFT in your structure. So for you to become a 2 stars, which is 150, that means you have to have 3 1 star in your team. So this is a structure of 3 that create the precedence for you to understand how to move from how to become a 1 star, receive 1 share, to become a 2 stars and have 5 shares, then become a 3 stars with 10 shares, and all the way to 5 stars with 50 shares. The, the goal is to become, at least, to reach the level of 5 stars. Now, today is Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday, was the 126th Boston Marathon. There are many people who won the marathon yesterday in multiple categories. There was only one winner, one number one in each category. And the price reward paid up to 10th, uh, 10th tiers. And after that, everyone just running for the experience. Now, keep in mind, there probably were thousands of people who won the marathon. Only 10 categories were paid. and the rest of them just had an experience for ego gratification for running the marathon and having nothing to show for it, while the number one person who win the men's category won 150,000 plus 50,000 in bonus. What's my point? My point is everybody wins the marathon, but there's only one winner in each category. One number one to number 10. There are no ties in number one. There's only one number one in each. There's one number two, and it can come from fractions of a second, 2 minutes, but it doesn't matter. There's only one number one. And the difference in pay is 150,000 versus 50,000 for second place. Now, if it was just about the money, the goal is to make it to 5 stars. Okay? Otherwise, there would be no point in participating and sharing. You can just acquire as many NFT as possible, one and done, or one and how many, uh, and then you're done. Okay? But if you are the competitive type who like to win, and you're money hungry, and you have a need to satisfy a certain level of income to meet with your expenses, then the goal is to win to get all the way to the top. But there comes a point where it's not about the money anymore. It's the journey. The journey makes it fun to be there. The journey makes it possible for you to keep reaching higher level because the learning experience, you meet all kind of people, and you get to a point where it's not about the money anymore. You just love the idea of, because everyone is an island, every person you meet has a different story, and there's something you can learn from them, there's something they can learn from you, and you get to overcome the challenge of communicating a very complex um, new ecosystem to people who are either already informed or to people who are 100% newbie, that you have to take them from starting to having them purchase an NFT and then explaining to them what an NFT is, what tokenization is. That process, it's a beautiful human development interaction that is beyond monetary value. And for that reason alone, it makes sense to climb the ladder all the way to 5 stars. And so, if your goal is to help organizations, if your goal is to travel, if your goal is to spend time with family, paying bills, or whatever your dream is, attach an end result of the projected value you like to have for achieving such a certain goals and dreams, vacation, pay off bill, buying a house, vacation home, a boat, or whatever, you know, fancy your ambition. Let that be a motivation. Zero focus on that. What would it be required of me to achieve this level of human excellence, of human development? Me learning from you learning from me, us collaborating, us putting our egos aside so I can teach you what I know, and me putting my ego aside, I can learn from you. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, and we will both get our needs met. And as you also achieving, wonderful synergy together, improving our human relationship skills by climbing the ladder together to success. And everyone according to their ability, communication skills, and ability to coordinate and exchange ideas, and putting our political, cultural, or whatever. And there's only one thing that unites us: our ability to get what we want economically speaking. And doing so, it's not a bad idea if we make money doing so, because if you're not the motivating type for money, maybe you're motivated by the need to do something or to help other people or to have fun or to retire, you know, yourself, your wife, brother, sister, or just donating money to charity, whatever fancy your ambition quest. Anyways, so that's basically what this journey is all about. The STAR program allow you to then reach beyond the first and second tier, so that way you can reach a certain level that pays out monthly rewards while having also NFT that pays quarterly rewards. Although this is not financial advice in any way, keep in mind whatever deposit you make in this ecosystem or what you are expected potentially could be 100% loss. But if you do understand this ecosystem and you like to take a position with one or how many NFT that you can acquire, why not also spread the idea to see if there are people who might be interested, open minded. And then together, as we travel through this journey of understanding this ecosystem, at the top, it's very lonely. It can get very lonely. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have a few like minded people who like to share the things that you enjoy doing. For me, season tickets to a symphony, it would be nice to have like minded people who are not stressed out about money all the time to enjoy the beauty of the richness of any symphony wherever they are that you like to travel to go visit and see, or the finest museum, the finest art, vacationing in the nicest place and staying at five-star hotel. Am I beginning to paint a picture for you? Anyways, so that's where we are. So, anyways, at that point, I'm at a two-star level. I cannot do that by myself. Now, I want to get to the five-star level, and I cannot do that without your help. How about you and I, we team up? You open up your Rolodex to me, well, to you, and I can help you educate them, and in the process, also help you achieve your one star to all the way to five stars. As I help you developing your stars and you help the people in your team developing their ability to participate in a star program, and you will find that you will also eliminate your money worries at the same time. All it takes is we put our differences aside, collaborate and team up. You leverage my experience, and I leverage your network, and together we take an educational and coaching role and ride, walk the steps upward. But what I just explained to you is is where you need to be at the five-star level. By now, you've seen the presentation multiple times. I have about this will be the 36th video in this category. So there are 36 videos in the playlist that you can watch and rewatch and expand. And you could also see my development as I understand this ecosystem, my belief level, my energy. So I've been to the promised land, and I want to help you get there. But you won't be able to understand the excitement, even though I'm actually in a very low key mode right now because I don't want to overhype the excitement. at the expense of turning you away. But if you've been where I've been and you can see, you picture yourself on a mountaintop and then look down, it's a lot easier to look down than to look up. And I'll leave it at that.